Welcome to the APA instructional video. We are your Southwest University English Department here to help you today with executing a strong APA formatted paper.
Hi, my name is Natalia Martinez and I'm the Accreditation Coordinator here at Southwest University.
Hi, I'm Alicia Ramos and I'm the University Staff Writer here at SU.
In our roles to support the students, we write a lot. When we say a lot, we mean a lot. With our writing, we facilitate professional communication between SU and the accrediting bodies. We provide support in policy writing, as well as anything that needs to be written for the school.
A huge part of our professional writing is ensuring that the work we are submitting is our own original work. Plagiarism is a concern with professional writings and with student writing.
That's very true. That's why we wanted to take a few minutes to discuss plagiarism and how to avoid it. At SU, we hold our students to a high standard of academic honesty. This means that we're trusting that they're not participating in academic misconduct like plagiarism. So what is plagiarism? In the simplest form, it's presenting someone else's work and ideas as your own. You can think of it like stealing their work, their thoughts, and even their efforts. It's also important to note that plagiarism doesn't just include writing. It can be images, videos, music, formulas, research, even computer codes can be plagiarized. Basically, ideas of any form, if presented as your own, can be considered plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is also a thing that many people are not aware of. Self-plagiarism is when you resubmit your own work multiple times. This means that if you turn in an essay for one class and receive a grade for it, you can't resubmit that same essay to another class. If you do, that's considered a form of self-plagiarism. Here are some other forms of plagiarism. Submitting someone else's work as your original work, presenting copied sections of someone else's work without citing the appropriate sources, summarizing or rewriting others' work without citing the sources, quoting the work of others without providing a proper citation, not citing all portions of work that should be cited, improper paraphrasing, citing the wrong source, citing too many sources and not providing enough original ideas. Contract plagiarism is also a growing concern. This is when you pay someone else to do your work for you. As you prepare to turn in your assignments, make sure to pay careful attention that you're not plagiarizing and always present your own original work.
Now that we understand what plagiarism is, let's discuss a few methods we can use to avoid it. The easiest way to avoid plagiarism is to make sure and credit the appropriate sources by referencing their work. This ensures that you give credit to the original sources of information that support your own original work. For anything that is not common knowledge, make sure and cite that work. For example, everyone knows who the first president is, so we wouldn't need to cite that. But do you know who the 22nd president is? If not, and you are mentioning something about them in your paper, you will want to cite where that information came from. Make sure all the sources on your reference page are cited in your text. If you're using a direct quote or passage from others' work, it should be put into quotation marks and copied word for word. But make sure you are not relying on this too heavily within a paragraph or throughout your paper. Paraphrasing is allowed and involves taking the written or spoken word of others and rewording it without changing its meaning. This is done to present the information in a more concise way. When paraphrasing, it is important to ensure that the entire paraphrase section is rewritten in your own words. If you still have doubts about plagiarism, you can easily have your paper reviewed by online plagiarism checking software to ensure you are submitting your own original work. If you have any other questions regarding plagiarism and citing sources, do not hesitate to reach out to any of the English faculty at SU. We are all here to support your academic growth and success and can answer any questions you may have.
Let's start with the most important, the teacher's instructions in reference to what your APA paper requirements are. Pay close attention because if you do not understand and get the instructions wrong, you will be losing precious time and possibly, if not corrected in the process of the research and writing, you will have to put in a lot of work into something that may get you a failing grade. First and foremost, the topic. Make sure that you decide on a topic that is within the approval of the subject matter in which you were allowed to write upon. When in doubt, ask for approval from the teacher. A 1-minute email, text, or verbal sentence asking your teacher if the topic would be adequate could go a long way and save you a lot of time and headaches. When you choose your topic and before checking with the teacher, it will be beneficial to take a good amount of time researching the topic to see if it has enough research or information that you can quote, cite, and use to fulfill the requirements in terms of facts, substance, and length of the APA paper. If the information is limited and scarce, change the topic to a more researched topic. It will save you time, headaches, and stress. Even if you are in the process of researching and writing your paper and figure out that the research is limited, go get approval from your teacher to change the topic. Even though you will have to start over in the end, it will be easier for you and you will be able to write a better paper and get a better grade. Be diligent, work hard, and be timely in writing your paper so you can adjust to anything should something come up. Next section after the topic is your title page. Attached is an example of the title page. It is as follows. We are using the 7th edition APA format. Title page, 1-inch margins. Double spaced. Several fonts can be used: 12-point Times New Roman, 11-point Calibri Arial, Georgia, or Lucinda Sans Unicode 10. Insert plain page, number top right. Click out the center cursor at the top. Title is in boldface, 3 or 4 lines down from the top margin of the page. Title page has title, author, school, course, teacher, date, and page number in the margin section.
Now we are moving on to the outline portion of your research paper. An outline is a useful tool that can help you organize and develop your paper. Developing your ideas will be elaborated later on, so we'll be focusing on the organization aspect first. When you are writing a paper, it is important to keep your thoughts and ideas organized, since this will lessen the workload as you go along. Now, the outline doesn't have to follow a certain list of rules or follow perfect steps. The good thing about organizing your paper into an outline means you can direct or design how you want it to look at the end. If you are unsure of where to start or what figures to use, here are some pointers. The very first thing you want to touch upon is the introduction. This is the first paragraph of any essay, and it introduces your reader to not only the basics and background of your topic, but also your thesis sentence or statement. Remember, a thesis statement is a sentence that gives the topic of your paper, but also your stance or thoughts on it. Body paragraphs all follow the same format. You begin with a topic sentence, which is the sentence that the paragraph is about or its main idea. Next, you provide evidence, examples, or elaboration of that main idea. Then you analyze the information that was provided. There is no set amount as to how many body paragraphs your essay needs to have, but it is important to adhere to the guidelines your professor provides on either word or page count requirements. Last, you would brainstorm your concluding paragraph. Remember, a conclusion does not introduce a new main idea or detail. It simply wraps up the paper to signify to your reader that it has ended, and you've provided all the information necessary to discuss the topic. Now, there are other brainstorming techniques you can use, like bubble mapping, but an outline is a beneficial tool that can help you not only organize your paper, but helps you develop ideas and sentences that can be used in your final paper. Remember, if you get stuck, your best resource is always your professor, and our wonderful English faculty can also help you organize and develop your essay.
Do you ever find yourself scrolling through news feeds on your social media or surfing different articles on the web? What makes you stop and actually take the time to read through something? In today's world of instant gratification, readers want to find something interesting to read quickly. This is why your introduction to your essay is such an integral and significant part of your document. My name is Naomi Cortez, and I'm a general education instructor at Southwest University. Today, I'll be sharing a few strategies you can use to create an engaging introduction. How you introduce your topic will depend on your audience and purpose, but there are a few tried and true ways that have proven effective for grabbing a reader's attention. They include using statistics, opening with a question, providing elaborate details and/or descriptions, telling an anecdote, sharing a relatable quote. One great way to interest your reader is to use statistics. For example, you might be writing a persuasive essay about the need for your school to switch exclusively to notebooks or laptops for students. You could start off your essay by stating the percentage of students who prefer notebooks or laptops to tablets. For example, 87% of students polled at Southwest University prefer X and Y to Z. For extra oomph, use statistics that are surprising to your readers, such as the example, 1 in 4 people will develop some form of skin cancer in their lifetime. You can also open with a question. Let's use the same topic as in the previous example. A question you might pose is, what are some of the advantages of laptops and notebooks compared to tablets? And then follow the question with a statement of your purpose, which is providing an answer to the question. Questions engage your reader because your reader will want to know the answer to the question you pose. Using elaborate details and descriptions in your introduction will allow your reader to develop a picture of what you are writing about. Old, clunky, large keyboard, less tablet use as opposed to the ease of an easily clickable keyboard attached to a sleek, new compact notebook. You can also use the above strategy when using the anecdote technique. An anecdote is a short story related to your topic. You might open your essay by telling a story about the frustration a student has trying to reformat their document to open correctly from a tablet to a PC or a laptop. You could create a scenario where the frustrated student is completely unable to submit their document and receives a 0 for their assignment. This strategy can be particularly useful if you are writing about a subject that might be considered a bit dry by some. Lastly, a relatable quote is an attention grabber. Make sure that the quote is not chosen haphazardly and actually is related to your subject matter. You can use famous quotes or lesser known. Make sure to give a tribute to the quote's author. If you do not know any quotes offhand and would like to use this technique, a simple Google search with your subject matter and quote as keywords will retrieve many results. Before leaving so you can begin to write your amazing introduction, remember that typically your thesis statement will follow your introduction. Consider your thesis statement as the roadmap of your essay. Your reader should know what direction you are going in and what paths you are taking to reach your particular destination, in other words, your purpose. A great introduction will entice the reader, give them a preview of the content that will be discussed, and leave them with a roadmap, the thesis statement, to keep in mind as they continue reading the rest of the paper. Being able to find a main idea in a text, whether it be a passage or a chapter, is a skill that is invaluable. Having this ability can help you with your reading, writing, and test-taking skills. What is the main idea? The main idea is the point an author is trying to make about a subject, what he or she wants you to know. Where does it come? The main idea can actually come anywhere in a passage, but is typically the first sentence. Here is one at the beginning of a paragraph. It is often said that lightning never strikes twice in the same place, but this isn't true. Go ask the forest rangers. Rangers who spend their summers as firefighters will tell you that every thunder shower brings several bolts of lightning to their lookout stations. Here's one at the end of a paragraph. Costs were low that year and the output was high. There was a good person for each job and the market remained firm. There were no losses from fire. All in all, it was the best years in the history of the company. And here is one after an introductory sentence in the first part of the paragraph. There are great numbers of deer around here. This whole area is a great country for hunters and fishermen. There are bears, mountain lions, and coyotes. To the east, there are streams full of trout, and there are ducks and geese. There are two kinds of main ideas, stated and implied, or explicit and implicit. The second sentence is the main idea and topic sentence, while the following two are supporting major details. They help to explain why the area is a great country for hunters and fishermen. It is because of the many animals there. We can add minor details by describing the animals, like what types of bears there are. Thank you for joining me today to review these important concepts that will help you to be both a successful reader and writer. Do you remember the last time you watched a movie and were completely let down or even devastated because of the film's ending? Maybe the movie ended with a cliffhanger where you were left waiting another couple of years for a sequel to come out. Or perhaps you just felt unsatisfied because there was no closure, or you were left with unanswered questions. All of these scenarios are quite frustrating, are they not? Conclusions are important, and though the previous examples are for movies, essay conclusions can also cause frustration. There are a few different strategies one can use to write an effective conclusion. Of course, as always, what technique you use will depend on audience and purpose. Perhaps one of the most common strategies to use is summarizing the main points of your essay. Let's say you're writing an essay about environmental preservation responsibility. In your conclusion, you would restate the main points you went over in your essay, say practicing recycling, fighting plant obsolescence, and energy conservation. You can do this and also combine it with one of the previously mentioned strategies. Asking a question is another strategy you can use to conclude. You might ask your reader, what is one step you'll take today to make the world a better place for future generations? Making a call to action is when you ask your reader to do something. So you can encourage your reader to recycle or not upgrade instantly to the newest and greatest cell phone. To create a striking image using the topic of environmental preservation responsibility, you could paint a picture of a lush green world with adequate water supply, happy children playing outside enjoying a crisp fall day, or you can do the opposite and paint a picture of what happens when we don't practice this responsibility. You might describe a wretched world where people are suffering from not enough resources. Creating consequences of not heeding whatever message you are sending your reader can be quite easy, but make sure to stay ethical and employ both ethos and logos in your writing of this strategy. One thing to definitely stay away from is leaving your reader with a cliffhanger. Make sure your reader has closure and that you are not starting a new topic. This can be frustrating for your readers. As you sharpen your writing skills, make sure to practice ending your papers with one of the strategies we have discussed. This will ensure the reader is left with a lasting impression of the message you are trying to send.
Now that you have reviewed and taken copious notes on all of the articles, books, and journals that you have decided upon for research, you can begin to build your reference page. In my professional opinion, the reference page should always be the first to be created. Remember that it should be on its own page while still following all APA guidelines. It should be in alpha order. It should include a hanging indent. It should be formatted correctly according to the type of source. Any resource on your reference page should be reflected in parenthetical or narrative in text citations. You will need at least 2 resources to comply with APA standards, but ensure that you are clear on how many resources your instructor requires. There are several ways to create a reference page, but I would love to show you 2 of the most straightforward options. Option 1, make sure you have your template minimized and go to citationmachine.net. As you can see, citationmachine.net creates all of the references in order for you, along with the hanging indent. Option 2. You may also obtain the correct format for your reference page via EBSCO. Please copy and paste all references from Citation Machine or EBSCO and add them to the reference page according to APA rules. Remember to submit papers to the paper review system. Sometimes these sites may have minor errors. Now let's move forward to the abstract. According to the 7th edition of APA format, which is the style of writing Southwest University has adopted. Students, I have a couple of questions for you. Do you know if the abstract is required for student papers? And do you know how to write an abstract? If you do not know the answer to these questions, I imagine you may look like this student. Remember my question, do you know if the abstract is required for student papers? The answer is, according to the 7th edition of APA format, no, the abstract is not required for student papers unless it is specifically requested by a professor or institution. So what is an abstract? An abstract is a brief, comprehensive summary of the contents of an essay or research paper. Think of it as an elevator pitch of your paper to entice someone to continue reading. What is its purpose? It is intended to capture the audience's attention by enticing the reader to learn more about a topic. The abstract provides main points by utilizing current information using studies, includes results, and draws conclusions. So who is the audience? It can be a professor assigning an essay on a topic, a researcher collecting data to create a survey, a doctor looking for a cure for cancer, and even a fellow student providing feedback to a classmate. What are the format requirements? An abstract needs to be on its own page and follows the title page. Includes a running head at the top. Title should be centered and bold. One-inch margins. Left-aligned text. No indentation is needed. It should be from 150 to 250 words, and typically font style should be Times New Roman and font size is 12. Also, it is acceptable to use another font and size if it is legible. It needs to be double spaced throughout. Can contain keywords located at the bottom of the abstract and specifically requested by an instructor or an institution. So what are keywords, you may ask? There are 5 to 7 words, phrases, or acronyms that describe the important characteristics of your paper. Keywords can be used as search words. I hope that this video helped you to understand the purpose of an abstract and how to write one.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our informative video in APA format. We hope that you found it helpful and informative. As you may know, APA format is an important part of academic writing and research, and it can be challenging to get it right. But with our variety of resources, we aim to make it easier for you to understand and apply APA style in your own work. We invite you to subscribe to our social media pages to stay up to date with our latest academic resources and tips. On our SU Learning Support YouTube channel, we regularly post tutorial videos and other resources that can help with your academic writing and research. We also provide online paper review where SU students can submit their papers to English faculty who will review them and return them within 4 business days. We also encourage you to take advantage of our tutoring with our amazing faculty. Don't miss out on all the great content we have to offer. Once again, thank you for watching our APA format video. We hope that it has been a useful resource for you, and we wish you all the best in your academic pursuits.